Jane Smith sat on a bench in Kensington Gardens. Her entire worldly fortune lay in her lap. It consisted of 2 shillings and 11 pence. She had already counted the pennies 4 times, because there really should have been 3 shillings. She was now engaged in making a list in parallel columns of A, those persons from whom she might seek financial assistance, and B, the excellent reasons which prevented her from approaching them. Jane had a passion for making lists. Years and years and years ago, Mr. Carruthers had said to her, "My dear, you must learn to be businesslike. I have never been businesslike myself, and it has always been a great trouble to me." And then and there he and Jane had, in collaboration, embarked upon the first list. It was a thrilling list, a list of toys for Jane's very first Christmas tree. Since then she had made lists of her books, lists of her clothes, shopping lists, and an annual list of good resolutions. Jane stopped writing and began to think about all those other lists. She had always showed them to Mr. Carruthers, and he had always gazed at them with the same vague benignness, and said how businesslike she was getting. Dear cousin James, Jane was rich instead of poor when she thought about him. She looked across at the trees in their new mist of green, and then suddenly the thin April sunshine dazzled in her eyes, and the green swam into a blur. Cousin James was gone, and Jane was alone in Kensington Gardens, with 2 and 11pence and a list. She opened and shut her eyes very quickly once or twice, and fixed her attention upon A and B in their parallel columns. At the top of the list Jane had written Cousin Louisa, and the reason against asking Cousin Louisa's assistance was set down as because she was a perfect beast to my darling Jimmy, and a worse beast to me, and anyhow she wouldn't. In moments of irreverence, the late Mr. Carruthers, author of 5 monumental volumes on ethnographical differentiation, had been addressed by his young ward and cousin as Darling Jimmy. Professor Philpot came next. A darling, but he is sitting somewhere in Central Africa in a cage learning to talk gorilla. I do hope they haven't eaten him, or whatever they do to people when they catch them. It will be observed that Miss Smith's association with the world of science had not succeeded in chastening her grammar. Jane's pencil travelled down the list. Mr. Bruce Murray, in Tibet, studying llamas. Henry. Jane shook her head and solemnly put 2 thick black lines through Henry's name. One cannot ask for financial assistance from a young man whose hand one has refused in marriage, even if it was 3 years ago, and he's probably been in love with at least 15 girls since then. Henry's mamma. Well, the only time she ever loved me in her life was when I refused Henry, so I should think she was an absolute washout. And that's the lot. Jane folded up the list and put it into her handbag. 2 silver shillings and 11 copper pennies, and then the workhouse.